So I'm going to take you on a quick walkthrough for this QA data portal tool that we've been working on. Side note, it is an open source tool, so if you want to get in there and see what we're doing, it's available for you. I'll open a link to that spot here just in a second. So when you sign in, it tells you that you're in the data portal. There's transfers, samples, and results. Like, that's all the stuff that this data portal is really designed to do. Interact with Leaf and interact with the other systems, and make that data available without actually exposing the laboratory's systems to the internet or other stuff like that, right? This is the host where that stuff happens, and it don't have to expose your own systems. A little bit security for the labs there. This is the list of all my transfers in Leaf going back to a long time, from when we started testing Leaf, even before they launched. I've got 3 that need to be accepted. It's just the list of transfers, fairly straightforward. Newest ones on the top, of course. You can see their status, and these ones are in transit. They're ready to be accepted. Transfer manifest doesn't look that exciting. The identifier of these other items in Leaf data as they exist. And then here's, the transfer identifier. This is the identifier in the source system, which you do need to care about. When you go through the acceptance process, again, it tells you who it's from, tells you that it's coming to you, so of course that should work. Since most labs are only 1 license, you'll never need to change these things. You do indicate how much you've received here. If you have a room to store them into, you would move them in there and you just hit accept. Once they're in, now we've got a whole series of samples. This is all basically the lots that you've ever received, and you go through and add results to any of these samples if no result exists. Looking at a sample itself is pretty boring. There's not a lot of details, and on some of these, the sample can be created and then material data can be lost in Leaf data. It's actually one of the bugs they've recently fixed. The one we're looking at here actually has some of that data missing. Here's the actual QA samples that we have, and some of these have failed and some of these have passed. Click on this to look at the specific one. You can also make sure that it's loaded the latest stuff from the Leaf backend, or you can go through the sharing process, which we'll come right back to. When you're looking at a specific result, again, if stuff is not lost in Leaf, or we've been able to capture it at the point in time when we imported these materials, all that stuff will show up nicely. Cannabinoids here, the general details of the thing, terp profile, microbes. Now on this one, the results already set, so only some of these pieces are still editable, some of them are not editable. When you go to enter result, of course, everything is editable. And then at the end of it, we have a reasonably okay looking web page to present this information to the consumer. It's slightly different from the page that you were looking at. All the fields are read-only on here. We do have all of those little bits on here. I'm authenticated when I'm looking at this page, so I do see some of the buttons at the bottom that you otherwise wouldn't see. And then if a COA had been uploaded into Leaf, or if a COA had been uploaded into this system and not into Leaf, that would be available from the print COA button, which of course doesn't work for this one, which is missing a bunch of other stuff, and we've never uploaded the COA. It's not visible in this demo, but this system also is capable of generating its own COA, and you can customize that through a whole bunch of different ways. It's actually fairly simple, and that's our portal. Once these details have been made available to the producer processor from this result page, down here is a clever option. Like, this is the QR code that you would use to then represent this QA detail on a package. And then this data set right here, you can bring this down. This is just data for us data nerds, so that there's better interoperability between the systems.